Hello and welcome to another one of my videos. This is a place to inspire and to be inspired. And speaking of inspiration, I got really inspired by these nails. I don't know if you've been seeing them a lot, but I've been seeing them a lot, and the pattern is beautiful and I wanted to emulate that somehow. And I also came across the hobby of beaded embroidery, and I've had this little coin bag for a while. I bought it off of Amazon, but the front of it is beaded. And then the back is just the normal canvas fabric. And then it has a little zipper on the top. So I figured, how hard could it be to make this? And I can use that inspiration that I had from the nails and make a beaded coin bag. I've never made one before. I've never done any beaded embroidery. I've made beaded jewelry, but I've never done beaded embroidery before. And you guys can also learn from my mistakes because I've never done this before and I'm sure I will be making a couple mistakes. I really like the size of this bag, so I want to make mine a very similar size because I feel like it's just a usable size. You can fit a lot in it. And I already have some leftover denim, so I think I want to use denim as my fabric. So I just need to measure out this size and then give a little extra space for sewing when I'm attaching it together. So I'm going to sketch out on my denim what I want my pattern to look like and then decide what colors I need, and then we'll go to the craft store. We will get a zipper because I have this zipper, but it's a invisible zipper. I just want to use a regular standard zipper, not the invisible zipper. So for this part, I'm just taking measurements from the bag that I already have, and I'm adding an extra 1/4 inch around the entire thing, and then I'm going to double that so that I have one long rectangle. So this is our rectangle here, and I already sketched out exactly where I want the beads to be, and I'm leaving this little space on the sides so that when I put them right sides together and then sew and turn inside out, it should leave a clean line. I think that this will be enough space to sew it together. I'll probably have to sew it by hand because I don't want the sewing machine to mess up any of the beads or to snag them. I have a feeling I'm going to have to do everything by hand. So now I just need to sketch out how I want the pattern to be. I think I want to do an orange slice and then half an orange slice, and then at the corners doing this little blue design. I'm just gonna wing it and we'll see how it goes. And although I may be creative, I don't have a very strong artistic talent when it comes to drawing. So I'm doing my best to mimic what I see on the screen and then to try to replicate that somehow. I finished my sketch. I made a couple of mistakes, but I know where the mistakes are, and I think I can remember where the proper line is supposed to be. Now we need to get our beads. I'm thinking 2 different shades of orange, a white, and a blue. I haven't tried this one yet. This is the strawberry vanilla. I normally don't like vanilla flavored drinks like the orange sickles. Like, I've never liked those. But it said strawberry, and I love strawberries, so I'm hoping I like it. Honestly, I can barely taste the vanilla, which is probably why I like it. But it's like a hint of vanilla, and mostly I just taste the strawberry. It's very good. All right, let's go. And of course it's not a craft day without a little treat. So I went to Crop and I got these sesame noodles. They're my favorites. And then I also got this little lemon cookie, which I've never tried, but it looks really good. Oh, let me show you guys. And at the craft store I got this blue zipper. I got 2 different shades of orange. This one's like a multi-pack of orange shades, and then this one is all the same shade. I got a blue, and then I got 2 white. And then I got these itty bitty teeny tiny needles. They're like the smallest ones you can find. All right, back to my little snack. These are so good. It's good, but you can tell it's healthy. It's not very sweet, so this is probably better for me than, say, crumble cookie. It's not quite hitting the spot, but it's something sweet, so better than nothing. So now we're ready to start our beaded embroidery. I already threaded my needle. These tiny needles are so hard to thread. It probably took me a good 10 minutes just to get this threaded. And I'll put a little picture here that I found that explains how I'm gonna do this. I've never done this before, so I'm literally just going to do what this picture says and trace the lines that I made. Oh, and I also wanted to mention my first mistake was when I cut out this rectangle. I should have left it one big piece of fabric and then just traced out my rectangle and then used one of these. I think I can still do it. It's just gonna make my life a little bit harder. And I'm gonna do my best to verbally explain what I'm doing here. Wherever you wanna start your beading, you're gonna put your needle through the bottom and up the top. You're going to put 2 beads through your needle, and then you're going to put your needle back in front of the last bead you put in. And then you're gonna come up from the bottom again between those 2 beads, and then this time you're gonna go through that last bead you did, and then you'll thread 2 more, put the needle back in front of that last bead, and then you're gonna pull it back up in between those last 2 beads you did. And then back through that last bead, and then string 2, and then continue this throughout the entire project. It's the next day. This is how far I got in 3 hours. I somehow thought that I would finish this whole project in a day. I finished work early today, so now I'm gonna go home and start working on it again, but I have a feeling that I'm going to be working on it tomorrow as well. So I'll give you guys updates as I'm working on this project. It is tedious and it's going to take a long time. So I think we're on day 5 or 6 now. I'm pretty sure today I'm going to be able to finish the background. This is how we're looking so far. This is so tedious, but it's going to be so worth it when I'm finally done. As soon as I finish filling in all of the background, I'll show you guys how it's looking, and then we will start attaching everything together. Finally finished, and now we need to attach our zipper and then attach the sides, and we'll be done. So I already cut the zipper to size. And what we're going to do is we're going to have the good sides facing together. I'm going to hand sew this as close as I can to the bead so that they are at the top. And then I will be doing the same thing to this side. That way when we turn it inside right, it'll look the way that we want. And this photo at the top is an example of a stitch that I'm doing. It's called a running stitch. It's a very simple stitch. And I'm doing that all the way across, but then I'm going to go back the other direction and go in between all the spaces you see just to secure it a little bit better, since I'm not going to be able to use a sewing machine on this project. I want it to be as secure as possible, but since I'm doing it by hand, it's a little bit difficult, so you'll just have to reinforce it by going over some of the spots a few times. And now we're going to do the exact same stitch on each side to secure them. Okay, so everything is attached, and before I turn it inside right so that we can see the final result, I just want to sew a liner really quick. That way I can show you the finished result with everything together, including the liner. So I just cut out a little rectangle that matches the size of this in this portion, and this portion will be the top where the zipper is. So I'm just going to fold it over once, do a simple stitch down, and then fold it over one more time just to prevent it from unraveling. This is what the top should look like. And this is the back side, which we will never see. This will be the side that you see when you open the zipper and you look inside the bag. So we're gonna do the same thing to the other side. And now we're going to put the good sides together, and we're going to do a simple stitch down each side. And And then this is the liner finished. Obviously the inside here is where we have all of our clean lines, but since it's a liner, it's gonna go this way, and then it's gonna go inside the bag, and then I'm gonna hand stitch around to secure it. And when you flip your bag, you wanna be careful not to snag any of the beads because they will unravel and come undone, so just be very careful when you're doing this part. And when we add in our liner, we're going to do that same simple running stitch around the outside, except when you put it through to the outside of the bag and then you're coming back in, we want to put them as close together as possible so that you're not seeing the thread. From the inside, I don't mind seeing a little centimeter of thread because I'm going to color match, but from the outside, I don't want to see it. Okay, so I finally finished. This is the inside, and when I did my stitching around, I could have changed out the thread to match the fabric, but I was too lazy. But when I did the hand sewing, I did match the fabric, so the only thread you can really see is the white. So that is all for this video. Stay tuned until next Friday when I post my next project.